Doctor Who Flux Chapter 1 The Halloween Apocalypse, the first episode of Series 13, is written by Chris Chibnall and starring Jodie Whittaker, Mandip Gill and John Bishop. A story arc of this series where it's been subtitled as Flux. Last time it happened was Season 23, The Trial of a Time Lord. The first time a Doctor Who season has a subtitle for story arc is Season 16, The Key to Time. Chibnall considered the latter approach more suitable and said that it's definitely the most ambitious thing him, cast and the crew have done since they've been on the series. After the announcement on May 2017, a deal between BBC Worldwide and SMG Pictures in China, the company has first right of refusal on the purchase for the Chinese market until Series 15. Chris Chibnall announced Series 13 to be development in November 2019 before Series 12 was broadcasted. It was said that this series will have 8 episodes due to COVID, then later announced 6 episodes with 2 specials releasing in 2022. With an extra special ordered for later that year as part of the BBC's centenary celebrations, in July 2021, Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall announced that they would be leaving the show after Series 13 and the specials, as they agreed 3 seasons and that's the end of their shift. In the BBC press release, Chibnall said he wished the successors, whoever the BBC and the BBC studios choose, has much fun as everyone had. They're in for a treat. And of course, Russell T Davies is back. Maxine Alderton, who wrote The Haunting of Villa Dietra, was listed on her CV as a core writer for Series 13. In April 2020, Chibnall confirmed that writing for the series had commenced and continued remotely throughout COVID's pandemic. He wrote all 6 episodes of the series, co-writing episode 4, Village of the Angels, with Alderton. Airtime and Pete McTighe were listed on their CV that they were set to write an episode for the series. However, in October 2021, Chibnall later said everyone had some other really great writers scheduled, but a lot of plans to be changed, partly because the new series is a one story, partly because there are less episodes, and partly because of the turnaround. The season brings back some old monsters like Cybermen, Daleks, Ood, Centaurans and Weeping Angels, which I'm happy about. This episode introduces a new companion, Dan Lewis, so it opens with the Doctor and Yaz tied upside down in the planet of ocean acid. I love the colouring of that scene. I thought it was pretty stunning. In the majority of the episode, the Doctor and Yaz argues because they're sad that Graham and Ryan are gone, and Yaz felt the Doctor pushed her away by not telling her anything. Jodie and Mandip are brilliant. The Doctor tells Carvanista that he has not beaten her and Yaz, but Carvanista thought otherwise. It was a cool scene when they're set free and flying on the gravity bar. Steve Oram plays Joseph Williamson, who's an English philanthropist and property owner who is best known for the Williamson tunnels, which were constructed under his direction in the Edge Hill area of Liverpool. He gives off great performance. In Liverpool in 1820, Joseph was criticised for the lack of purposes of tunnels. Paul Leonard plays James Stonehouse, who lives in Liverpool in 1820. He's great too. James Stonehouse was a contemporary of Joseph Williamson, who explored his tunnels extensively and made sketches and accounts of them, which have proved to be valuable historical documents and studies of Williamson's life. The hysterical Stonehouse was born in Liverpool on the 4th of June in 1769 or 1770 and lived into his 90s. Stonehouse toured the tunnels just 5 years after Williamson died. He searched and made sketches and a map of tunnels in 1845 and published findings in 2 books, 3 collections of 1863's Old Liverpool and the 1869's The Street of Liverpool. And in real life, the true purpose of tunnel hasn't been clear and is subject of much academic speculation as of time recording. So in the present day, Dan pretends to be a tour guide and got escorted out by Diane, aka Di, who works at museum, played by Nadia Albina. And I think she's great too. Apparently, while her second name was never officially said in the show, behind the scenes gave her a full name as Diane Curtis. This would also be the name given on her Museum of Liverpool staff card, which is not seen close up. And of course Dan said no to soups and saved some for others. As he went home he has 3 visitors. First it was the 3 kids in Halloween costumes for trick-or-treating, so Dan happily gave them sweets. Second is a random guy called Kev, only his name is revealed on credits, who is also asking for trick-or-treats. Of course Dan said no because not only he's a grown man, but he's also not dressed up. Oh, it was so funny, that scene. And the third is Carvanista. It's so funny where Dan thought Carvanista was a crazy guy in Halloween costume and talking about his mum.
Go on, shoot! Get back to your mum, tell her what a brave lad you've been.
Never talk of my mother.
So Carvanista stunned Dan with electric cell and took him away. The Doctor and Yaz arrived and investigated. The laptop that gives the information about Carvanista's whereabouts, while there is a fleet of 7 billion Lupari waiting to invade Earth, causes Dan's house to shrink like Ant-Man's technology, which is cool. Next door's bathroom exposed is also really funny. Just before the Doctor and Yaz go into the TARDIS, a woman called Claire Brown, who apparently knows the Doctor and Yaz from their future, so they rushed off into the TARDIS. And it's really interesting that they entered the other side of the TARDIS. It's a nice callback from Logopolis. And of course the TARDIS was leaking, so Claire finds a weeping angel in her street. As she tries to get inside the house to get away, she got zapped in time. I'll talk about Claire when I get to Village of the Angels, as it would make more sense, as it's where it focused. Vinda in his ship sees the start of the Flux. Jacob Anderson plays Serving Commander Instant V Vinda of Costa Windfur Foxfell, who's a pilot and a guardian. I really like that guy. He is pretty cool. Of course, Anderson was best known for Grey Worm in Game of Thrones. Yeah, unfortunately I haven't seen a single episode. Sorry. I can see the show is well made. After Swarm arrived in the Arctic at Yorn and Anna's house, Yorn gets burnt away. The disguise of Anna is burnt away, which set Azure free. I'll talk about those Ravagers in Once Upon a Time. I thought it was pretty effective where the Doctor in Mindscape talks to Swarm, who knows the Doctor, and remember every battle they apparently had.
Our final fight has begun.
While Yaz set Dan free, the Doctor confronts Carvanista, who's a Lupari officer and works for the Division. The Lupari are humanoid dog warrior, and they picked up humans from Earth to save them from Flux, which is why they're known as man's best friend. I think Craig Ells nailed it. Give him a round of applause. I really like that character. I hope we see him return. When I first saw the trailer, I thought he looks like Chewbacca, which is funny. We also learn that the Flux is a hurricane ripping through the structure of the universe, disrupting every particle, the falling of the structure of the universe. I love every time Carvanista says, "my human," and Dan is like, "I'm not your human." It's so funny. It's pretty rough day for everyone. So the Doctor, Yaz and Dan outrun Carvanista.
Doctor, Dan! Nice to meet you, Dan! Run for your life!
And went into the TARDIS where the door is on the floor. Centaurans appear in this episode for a little bit and they're happy that the Flux has begun. Diane was waiting for Dan, but Azure lures her into a house. I love the bit where the Doctor opens the Vortex Energy, a callback from Boomtown and the Parting of the Ways in Series 1, Christopher Eccleston, 9th Doctor's era. Sadly, Vortex Energy has no effect, and it could be the end of the universe, which leads to the cliffhanger.
The end of the universe! I always wondered what it would feel like.
My god, I was mind blown by that episode. After viewing that episode, I was so excited for the next episode. Daniel Lewis, Dan for short, worked as a volunteer and became the Doctor's companion, played by John Bishop. I thought he's fantastic. I love Dan. The character was definitely written for John Bishop, and he said his casting to be a dream come true, as he would have never believed it when he was younger. After this episode came out, it was an origin of the internet meme Evil Dan, where he's depicted as a nihilistic, gluttonous villain in fan-edited videos. It became popular on social media, particularly YouTube and Twitter, which I thought the videos were really funny. Even John Bishop tweeted one of the videos and says that he loved it. He found it funny. I think the Halloween Apocalypse is a brilliant episode. Lots of stuff has happened. Not a single scene that has dragged. Cliffhanger is awesome. Everything about this episode, I was absolutely blown away by it. What did you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.